Hey parents, I just wanted to give you a few pieces of information about our upcoming trip to Orlando and Give Kids the World. Here we go. The first thing is this: we are leaving bright and early on the 10th of June. We're leaving at 6 a.m. We're going to start loading at 5:30 a.m. That departure time is very important because we have to get to Jacksonville, Florida that first day because we're going to First Baptist Jacksonville on Sunday morning. So that departure time is very important. Make sure you're aware of it. We load at 5:30. We are leaving at 6 a.m. Please don't have us waiting on you or your children. The second thing is we're headed to Give Kids the World. That's our destination. It's actually a division of Make-A-Wish Foundation. It's such a great place. I encourage you to get online and check it out. The thing is we have lots of people going on this trip, over 50. And so we've had to schedule the shifts at Give Kids the World to 2 per person. So we've got 3 total days of working, a morning, a whole day, and then an additional morning. And so your student might be working one morning and then skip a day and then go back, and they're not all going to be together every time we go to Give Kids the World. And so all of that information is reflected in the PDF that we've attached in the youth choir thread. Bonus, make sure you are in the youth choir thread. That's where we'll put information and things that you need to know. But I just want to make sure that is clear, that each kid has 2 shifts. Each sponsor has 2 shifts at Give Kids the World, but they might not be consecutive. So just make sure you're aware of that. One of the questions that I get quite a bit is, how much money do I need to send my students with on this trip? The short answer is you don't really have to send them with much money at all, because we pay for the meals. Everything is covered on this trip. And of course, that's funded from 2 places. The music budget line item here at the church, a substantial portion, north of $20,000, comes from that. And then we have our 2 taco suppers. And so those 2 things let us pay for the meals and do all of these things with very little charge directly to parents. The only thing I would say is that if you want to send money for souvenirs, snacks, things like that, of course, that's encouraged. Once again, it's not required. How much that is, though, is completely up to you. In years past, we always had what we call job assignments on choir tour and then later choir retreat. We've done something different over the last couple of years, and we've stopped doing the assigned jobs. And instead, we've just kind of made a policy that says if we ask you to do something, we just kind of expect you to do it. And it's worked really well. So my plan is to continue that, and just know that your student might be asked to help us load luggage onto a bus, or help us clean this house before we leave, or things like that. The key is to remember we're all on this trip together. And what I want your students to know is they're not being picked on if they're asked to help us load a bus. And they're really good about that. I feel like this goes without saying. But there's not a job assignment. If there is an assignment, it's simply do whatever you're asked. Okay, so let's talk about clothing. Shorts are allowed on this trip. Leggings are allowed on this trip. The key here is we're really just asking that everybody be modest. And even that is sort of hard to define. So here's what I would say about this. If we can't see your shorts, boys or girls, don't wear those. You know, if a sponsor discreetly asks your student to go change clothes, it's not because we're mad at your student. It's just simply hard to police this with something written out, right? And so what we've done is just try to be discreet and make sure that we understand, hey, for both sides, modesty is what we're looking for. And if you're asked to change, it's just for the good of the group. It's not a reflection on you. So make sure you know what our heart is, and just send your kids with good clothes. This year, like in years past, we've got a couple of nights at a hotel, as well as a boys' house and a girls' house. There are times where both boys and girls will be together in the same house for worship, things like that, very specific times. Other than those specific times, though, the expectation is that a girl is never in a boy's room and a boy is never in a girl's room. And of course, they would never be in the bedrooms of the houses that we might be in, even for those times. So you stay with the group. They're never isolated and alone. And I'm just going to be honest. If we catch that sort of thing happening, our only option truly is dismissal and to send your kids home. And we don't want to do that. So The expectation, the rule is no boys in girls' room, no girls in boys' room in the store. Okay, let's talk about cell phones. I'm actually going to read what we say about these to you real quick. Cell phones are going to be allowed for the duration of this trip unless announced at specific times. And here's what we mean by that. At Give Kids the World, for instance, we might not be able to take our phones into Give Kids the World for privacy reasons, for lots of different reasons that we don't quite understand or know. So we're going to leave that in as something that you're aware of, right? Here's the other thing. If you are found to be in any way harassing and or bullying other students, posting negative or inappropriate updates to social media, or bringing negative attention to the group in any way, we're going to confiscate the phone. I hope we don't have to do that. You know, parents, I hope you're still with me. Here's the last thing I want to say. I've been on a lot of choir tours, choir retreats. I was a student for 6 of them, and I was an intern for a couple, and now I've been here for 6 years. And I want you to know, your students are really good, and some of the best I've ever seen, and they're respectful, and they simply do what they're asked, and we don't have lots of problems on these trips. And I'm grateful for that. And I think it's a reflection even on you as parents. It certainly is. And I want you to know that my heart is never to be a dictator or someone that enforces rules just to, be mean or aggressive about it. Our heart, the reason we do these trips, the reason we invest a lot of time and a lot of money in this is because it's very formative for your students. This time that they get away and they spend with their peers in deep study of the Word and doing something that matters and has eternal significance. Going to Give Kids the World and serving in this kind of capacity is such a unique experience. And I am very grateful and feel very privileged to just be a part of that. And I'm grateful that you allow your students to come and be shaped by that. And look, I'm asking you right now to pray specifically for this trip, for your kids, for their friends that are going to be on this trip, that Jesus impacts them in a huge way. I'll see you on June 10th.